Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about one of the fastest growing competitive divisions, and that's Barebow Archery. We're going to talk about everything you need to get started. Okay, starting with the bow. Most barebow archers are going to shoot an aluminum riser bow and a recurve bow. So you can see these limbs. They are a recurve. This is a three-piece bow, and this is an ILF riser. International limb fitting. We have an entire video explaining what ILF is, but most people are going to use an aluminum riser. You can use a wood riser if you choose. So if you're a new archer and your first bow has a wooden riser or wooden fiberglass riser, that's perfectly okay to shoot in barebow. Eventually you'll probably want to upgrade to an aluminum riser. The most common length for an aluminum riser is 25 inches. So most people are going to shoot that. However, myself included, I shoot a 27-inch riser because I have a longer draw length, and the limbs are a little bit smoother for me, and it's a little bit easier to tune a 27-inch riser when you're string walking. An important thing to know about risers is that if you have a bow that has a lot of graphics on it, or if it's a wooden riser that has laminations, on the sight window you have to have everything be uniform. So if there's laminations showing or words or letters on your sight window, you'll have to cover that with masking tape or something like that. Now in barebow, no sights, no stabilizers, but you can use a weight. And for weights, they can't be mounted above your arrow shelf, so they have to be mounted below. That's where you would probably want it anyway. That's where it's going to balance the bow the best. And when it's mounted, it has to be able to fit through a 12-centimeter ring. So if you go to an archery competition, the judge will give you a 12-centimeter ring that you'll pass your bow through. To give you an idea, on my bow, I have a 28-ounce weight on there, and this setup like this fits just through a 12-centimeter ring. So keep that in mind. You can take a look at that for an idea of scale. And you also want to have a one-piece weight, a one-piece solid weight. So starting with the arrow rest, most barebow archers are going to shoot a bolt-on arrow rest as opposed to the stick-on arrow rest commonly used by Olympic recurve archers. The bolt-on arrow rest have a much stronger wire. It's a much sturdier platform because when we're string walking, there's a lot of downward pressure that's put on the arrow rest, and this just makes the whole system more durable and reliable for us. A plunger is a really important accessory for a barebow archer, especially one that has click adjustments, so you can just easily make a few click adjustments, because what this does is, let's say you're shooting and your arrows are hitting slightly right, you can just tighten the tension of your plunger a click or two and move those arrows to the left. You don't have to do anything else. So it kind of works like a windage knob when in use, and of course a plunger allows you more tuning range and tunability when you're setting up your bow. Now of course, attached to the riser, you're going to have your limbs. I would recommend any new archer start with a really light draw weight, and especially with barebow, just so you can learn the form properly, avoid injuring yourself, and you can avoid so many bad habits by starting with a lower draw weight. I would say something 25 to 30 pounds for most people would be a good starting point. And then moving on to your bowstring, some important things to know about your bowstring is you definitely want to have two knocking points on there, one above and one below your arrow. That's going to help secure that arrow, again, especially when you're string walking. And you want it to be one solid color. Other than the bow, you're going to need arrows that are set up and tuned to your bow. Some things to keep in mind are that for indoors, typically barebow archers are going to shoot a longer arrow shaft, again because we don't have to pull through a clicker or anything like that, and we're aiming with that arrow. And by keeping our arrows long, it shortens the amount of distance we have to crawl down the string, which is beneficial for tuning. And for outdoors, typically barebow archers are going to shoot a lighter weight arrow, again because we're using our arrow as our aiming device. And let's say for outdoor target archery, we want our point on to be 50 meters. So we don't have the luxury of being able to adjust the sight down farther. That point on distance has to be 50 meters or really close to it. And for field, 60 meters would be our point on. So building arrows to match our aiming style is a big deal for barebow archery. The final piece of equipment that is barebow specific, of course you will need an arm guard and a finger sling and a quiver, but a barebow specific piece of equipment that you'll need is a Barebow Tab. Now these are a 3-finger under tab, so there's no split in there, no finger spacer, but they have markings on there that are spaced evenly and improved for use in barebow for string walking, and you're going to use those markings on the tab as you're string walking to count down, and those will be your sight marks. Alright, there's everything you need. It's not a ton of gear, but just a few things, all those little points that you have to keep in mind to make sure that your equipment falls within the rules and is set up ideally for barebow archery. Of course, a local archery shop is a great resource for helping you get started with archery lessons, getting equipment tuned and fitted to you. So utilize that resource, and we will see you all in the next video.